So how does Meccha Chameleon work? Let's see this through the eyes of a developer. In this video, we will explain how the drawing of the character works, how the servers work, and some miscellaneous stuff. But first, let me give you a quick rundown on what the game is. This game is pretty much prop hunt, but with extra details. First, you don't actually copy any objects. You actually draw yourself and you pretend to be the object. And once the timer is up for your drawing, the hunters will come out and search for you. But the chameleons can also win by either being the one with the most points from your other chameleon brethren, or being the last people alive and surviving from the hunters. Now that we're in the main menu, let's talk about the character right here that we can see. This is the character that you will be playing as. Now, you might be looking at this character and think, is this how I'm supposed to draw? Is this how detailed I can draw? Well, no. By the looks of things, the developer only took the character model and just slapped the background texture to represent that you're supposed to be hiding. In reality, the resolution of the character is way lower than this. But first, let's talk about the settings. There's nothing too special in the settings. As you can see, you have a create server, find server, settings, and quit game. Let's talk about the servers instead, shall we? So how did the developer create the multiplayer aspect of the game? Well, there are two options when creating a server or a multiplayer game. You have the dedicated server, and you have the player hosting servers as well. The dedicated server is the type of server where the developer has to pay to keep it running, while player hosting requires no payment from the developer and players can host for each other so that they can play the game. So, which type of server does this game use? Well, you guessed it, it's the player hosting server. So you would type your name here, you will enter the server name and the password. So if you were to only write the server name, it will be public and everyone could see it. But if you also enter a password, people won't be able to actually even see the server that you're hosting until they write the password as well. So it kind of serves like a double password. You first have to also know the name of the server and the password to be able to join the server. For the tags over here, I'm pretty sure they don't actually do anything. They're just info for if you were to make the server public, aka don't even write a password. I forgot to add this. There is an actual meaning to the region tag. If you don't have the correct region tag selected, the server won't even actually show up. So, for example, I'm in Europe, but even if I leave the tag on America, that won't change anything. It won't create a server in America because technically I'm hosting it, so the server would still be in Europe. In short, they're just visuals. There to give the players info of where the server is hosting from or what kind of a server it is. So let's create a server now. So here we are in the game. Let's first talk about the elephant in the room, the player. How does the coloring work? Well, if we were to draw a line through him, you can see that there are jagged edges and it's not actually cleanly smooth. At first, I thought it was more of actually drawing on the texture itself that the character is using. Well, while that is technically true, you are more exactly painting on the vertices that you have there. So, for example, what is a vertex? It's pretty much just a point that holds information on where it is exactly. So, what the developer is doing is they have multiple points that they connect with each other. So, 3 vertices create one face, and this is a face. So what you're doing is when you draw something, for example, let's click here, it just tells which vertices need to be colored black. Now then, by the looks of things, there are 2 types of vertices here. The first one is the actual vertices that make up the models. You see these sharp edges here? Those are the vertices that connect the whole model. One sharp line here is a vertex, and this one is another one, and so on. So the vertices here are pretty wide apart, while these ones are fairly close to each other. So what I'm guessing is that the developer has placed individually many of them and connected them together. So when you were to click here, all of those small vertices control what color they're gonna be like. Let's talk about the brush. While the brush here looks flat, in reality, when you click something, it creates a sphere that tells the vertices that are inside of it that they need to change the color to the selected color that you have. So, how do we know that this is how it works? To show you that it does actually create a sphere altogether instead of it just being a flat plane that colors it. If we place the character in this position and have the paintbrush over here, you can see that it pretty much says that only the left side will be painted and not the arm that goes around it. But if we were to click it, you see that it also colors the sides as well, which tells us this is an actual sphere that is coloring the whole place around it, and not just a two-dimensional color projection. So this is what I was saying when I was talking at the beginning of the video, that you cannot create those detailed drawings as shown in the main menu, but you could still go very close with it, since the players won't be in your face and looking at it like this. They will be from way far away, and those jagged edges won't be noticeable. Plus, it also helps that the jagged edges aren't actually that jagged, because the developer is also using a technique for the textures to make them more blurry so that they're not as sharp, and as a bonus effect, it also reduces how much the textures are intensive to your computer, because the sharper they are, the more info they're holding, resulting in more resources being consumed for your PC. Now then, let's look around the map. If we go to this corner of the map and climb up, we can see that the other side of the models are actually see-through. That's because the models themselves have not actually been added any models behind them. Which, in this case, is a good thing, since the game isn't meant to be like this extremely polished game to look extremely beautiful. It's more of a game to just hop in and play with your friends. It also has the bonus benefit that it makes the game more optimized if there's less stuff to render. So in general, this is a good thing in this type of situation. A fun fact, Penguin Hotel is actually a map that the developer has created for a different game altogether. How did I even come to this conclusion? Well, in the OBS, when I selected this game to record, it showed that it's actually running as Penguin Hotel, which tells me that the developer has probably used some assets from this game to create the game that you're seeing right now. And that's a fairly common practice for most developers, and it is a smart thing to do, because you're saving time from creating the stuff that you already have made to focus on the more important stuff. For example, the gameplay. But that's all the basic stuff that I wanted to talk about. If we reach 50 likes on this video, I will create a second video where we'll go into more details on how the game works. While you're here, why not check out the game that I'm working on? It's inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's and Observation on Duty, and the demo right now is out on itch.io, so you can give it a try yourself. But for now, thank you for watching, consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you Gunters in the next video. Bye bye!